I think that music is it's copyright free, right? It's part of the Creative Commons. That do 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 do
Oh
do.
yeah, like it's a StreamYard tool, so I'm
Cool.
sure
So
they
anybody can use it.
license. Yeah.
Can you only use it with StreamYard, or can I use it with like if I wanted to make that my theme music? Because I really dig that music. I don't know why, I just do.
Okay, if you're looking for theme music for free, purpleplanet.com, I think. And they have,
Yeah.
completely on the only thing they ask, your license costs that you credit them in your description.
Okay, cool.
You can license all of their music basically. Yeah.
Good to know. I'll look them up. Yeah, I really need to up the production value on my videos. I mean, I like the format I have. I was humming and hawing about changing it and doing something a little bit more akin to what you do, where you have a name slate, an opening slate and stuff like that, and opening animations and things. But I'm just too goddamn lazy, Irving.
No, I get it. I started doing it not because I thought it would actually make the videos or presentation better, but because it was fun to me. So if it's just going to be a chore for you, then I don't see why. Your format's
No,
great.
yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. It would be a chore, but I'd be so happy with the result of it. I know I would be very happy every time it went on. It's just, and it's not about like, I'm just lazy. I mean, ask my boss. I'm fucking lazy. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to the Ammunation. My name is your host, Craig Bragg, and with me tonight is the always ineffable Irving Twin. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm all right, Craig. How you doing?
What do you drink? What are you drinking tonight, Irving?
Tonight, it's no whiskey, oddly.
Yeah, I noticed your last video you were drinking a beer. Leffy?
Yeah. This is it's a beer that beer snobs will make fun of for being fake beer snob beer, but I love it.
That's a little meta in terms of
yes.
beers. That's funny.
Yeah, like if you drink Bud, you'll think I'm a beer snob. If you're a beer snob, you'll think I'm a pleb. I even have like the brand glass.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is like your hobby, man. That's cool. Everyone's got to have a hobby. My hobby that I want to get into is airsoft. I do this every year. Every year I get this idea about like LARPing or airsoft. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really jazzed. I want to do it. And now I've actually taken the plunge. I ended up buying myself an airsoft pistol and just waiting for some green gas so I can shoot it. I'm going to build a little target thing in my garage so I can shoot it. But yeah, I really want to do it. I keep watching these Swamp Sniper videos on YouTube. You ever see his videos?
No, but I remember you mentioning them.
Yeah, check out Swamp Sniper. He's got a great field in Virginia, and he makes these really awesome videos. He does these scenarios at his field, Ballahack Airsoft in Virginia. Anyway, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh man, I want to do that. Oh man, I want to do that. So I took the plunge because one of my colleagues at work, one of the guys who works out in the field, I was chatting with him. We were talking about Bill C-21, which we can get into at some point. And I know he's in airsoft, and he's like, oh yeah, this is great. And here's the thing. He's all the way down in Windsor, right? I said, right. So where do you cross the border into Detroit to play normally? And he's like, no, man, I play up in Barrie. I'm like, you drive from Windsor to Barrie? He's like, yeah. And I drive up to Picton. I'm like, Picton? You drive like 7-8 hours to 10 hours to play in Picton? Are you freaking nuts? But
to play gun tag?
Yeah. But you should see this field in Picton, though. You should. It's called PRZ, Paintball and Airsoft Field. It's this old army hospital, and it's got like 3 big buildings on it. And you basically try to hold these buildings when you're playing. It looks like a lot of fun. Anyway, so if anybody's into airsoft in the comment or in the watching the stream, please tell me all about your experiences in airsoft because I'm really interested in it. So that might bring us on to I should guess before we get started, I should talk about our sponsor. Now a word from our sponsor. Tonight's sponsor is Buy Peglight. If you've ever, been incarcerated and you need something to get out of your prison wallet, well, Buy Peglight is what you want. Just go to the infirmary and say, yeah, I'm feeling constipated. Can I get some Buy Peglight? And before too long, that contraband that you smuggled into prison, it'll be in your hands. Well, it'll be in the bowl and then it'll be in your hands. So
this is powerful shit.
It is powerful shit. So try Buy Peglight, available at all pharmacists. You just go walk up to them and say, "Yeah, they're gonna stick a camera up my ass, and they told me I got to drink this crap." And I say, "Oh yeah, I know what you need," and they bring you this kit. Anyway, so I mentioned in a previous video that I have an operation coming up, and I didn't go into much detail, so I may as well do it here. You're all my family and my friends, so I'll just tell you now. I'm getting my gallbladder removed later on this month, and today, the evil dictator that resides in my gallbladder, Augusto, we did some reconnaissance with a camera in there to make sure we can easily oust him from the republic that is my guts. So yeah, they did a colonoscopy today, and part of the preparation is to drink this crap. So I know you might all be going, ooh, hey, guess what? When you hit 50, they're going to make you fucking do it. So just so you're aware, in men in particular, I don't know if women have to do it, but men definitely have to do it when they turn 50. I think women too. You never had it done, Irving?
No, I mean, no, I have not had a colonoscopy. When I was a kid, I had appendix things, so
okay.
They had to check.
Did they take your appendix out?
Yeah.
So, okay, so when you get your appendix out, they call it an appendectomy, which I'm sure translates to appendix come out. I don't know what the term is for a gallbladder removal. First off, gallbladder is a stupid name for an organ. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds stupid. Even appendix sounds good, but you think about all the other organs. Liver. It's a 2-syllable word. It actually sounds pretty based. Spleen, kidney. These all sound good, right? Pancreas. These all sound like good organ names.
Even appendix isn't terrible.
What's that?
Even appendix isn't terrible.
Yeah, appendix sounds great. It's got an X in there. It's a great sounding organ. And then you got gallbladder. It sounds like an old lady thing. It sounds like something an old lady has. Hey, whenever I've heard the term gallbladder, it's always some lady going, "Oh, I had gallstones. They took out my gallbladder." That's what I hear. And so now when I say it, I sound like an old fucking lady.
They need to change the gallbladder out. So yeah.
Yeah, my mom had her gallbladder out too, and I thought it was a feminine organ because the only time I ever heard, it's like a hysterectomy. Only women get gallbladder removed. No, I thought it was an organ that only women had because it's always women who seem to have this thing being taken out. Anyway, so they need to rename the gallbladder to something like spleen or bile pump. Bile pump I could live with because that's essentially what the gallbladder is. Pumps bile into your intestines to help break down fat. And yeah, that's my rant about the phraseology and the words used in biology and science. So yeah, so today I had a colonoscopy. I was completely out of it. I couldn't watch the little camera doing the thing. But before I had to drink this awful shit, this nasty stuff. And it is horrendous. It's horrendous. It tastes like sugar and styrofoam. It's freaking awful. And I had to drink a liter of it last night. And I had to drink a liter of it this morning at 5 a.m. And when you drink it, for the next 4 hours, you'll be pissing out your asshole until the stuff that comes out your ass is clear like water. It's awful. Now, on the upside, I probably lost a couple of pounds. But, it wasn't very pleasant. Nick's Radio has a comment here. All right, so let's see what we got here. So, Boomer the Tech Low is supposed to be a banner.
I thought I deleted that. That's
okay. Okay, it doesn't matter. No, I can see it here. I'm looking at the comments in. Tegan. Hello, Tegan. Welcome. Thank you for watching the stream tonight. I know that this is a late night for you, but I appreciate you being here. Great video, by the way, with Theo Fleury the other day. Tegan spoke to Theo Fleury, and I encourage you all to check out that video. Theo Fleury, as I've been told, is a big deal hockey player from Calgary. You said, right? Calgary Flames.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So great, that's a huge win and a huge get, but it's also a really inspiring story. So if you haven't checked out Tegan's channel, you know what? I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna link it in the comments so you guys can all check out Tegan's channel. She's doing some really awesome videos there, and I had the distinct honor of being on her channel not too long ago. Let me go find it. But thank you for watching tonight, Tegan. I appreciate you being here. And yeah, let's see what else we have in terms of comments. Nick's Radio, I got here in time to hear about the colonoscopy. Boy, am I happy. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Because you know what happens? You're picturing me lying there on my side with my knees up to my chest and my ass sticking out for everybody to see, and this big black rod going up my buttocks. Tegan, good luck with your upcoming surgery. Thanks, Tegan. I appreciate it. I'm sure it's going to go well. Augusto will be excised. He'll be extradited from my intestines. And he'll, yeah. It's too bad because Augusto used to be cool, man. He used to be cool. And then he started hanging around with these little hard-ass chunks of cholesterol and blood. And they started partying hard. And every time they did, I would be doubled over in pain. So Augusto's got to go. So yeah, buy Peg Leg. If you want the sensation of being Aquaman on the inside. All right, what else? Tegan says, yep, Calgary Flames, thanks so much for the shout out, guys. Had to stay up a bit later to catch you guys. Loved having you, Craig. Thanks, Tegan. Yeah, let me find her channel. Take it away for a minute, Irving. Shout out, guys. Take it away for a minute, Irving, while I find Tegan's channel. I can link it in the chat.
And thanks for coming, Tegan. I've been watching a few of her videos. They are really, really well done. Like, it's an interview format, and I don't know if she's prepared her questions, but she's always got a way to get like a little bit more out of everybody whenever they're almost finished. She's just like, I don't even know how she does it. I can't even mimic it, but she gets them to just go a little deeper. Very good stuff. Very good stuff.
And her conversations usually last about 45 minutes to an hour when she's speaking to all these, really, expert people.
Yeah.
So I was quite pleased to carry on a conversation with her that, came up to almost 2 hours, and it was just us talking shit, mainly me talking shit. But yeah, there's her channel. You can go check it out. I had the distinct pleasure of being on her channel, so watch that video too.
Did you put it in the live chat or did you put it in the side?
I put it in the live stream chat, so hopefully it translates over to YouTube. It should, right?
Yeah, it did. It did.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we should talk about something other than my guts. I
realize now, after you described the camera hose, that the banner should have read blacked.
Blacked. That's right. Yeah, so that was the story. Okay, that was the story of Augusto's screen test. Now that it's already passed, I didn't put the banner up, but it's Augusto's screen test. I don't know if maybe it was what we usually call it, recon. Augusto's recon for the Augusto operation. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But that was what happened today. What do we want to talk about first? We got a couple of things here in the docket here. Bill C-21.
Yeah, you had brought up the airsoft. I seems like a natural progression here because I'm not super familiar with this bill.
Okay, so Bill C-21 is another Canadian firearms bill, but it goes even further than the Canadian firearms. It basically makes any milsim airsoft gun. And if anybody's not familiar, milsim means military simulation. When people play airsoft, they're playing a couple of different options. Sometimes it's just like a speed game. Sometimes it's supposed to be simulating military actions. And when they're doing that, they use military accurate airsoft guns. So they look like their counterpart. They look like an M4. They look like an AK-47. They look like a Glock, whatever. But they're just shooting little plastic BBs, right? Well, the Bill C-21 proposes to change it so that any device that even resembles an actual firearm is considered a prohibited device. Not you need a license for it, not a restricted device, prohibited, meaning if you possess it and you're caught with it, you can be charged with having a prohibited firearm. It's not, even though it's not a firearm, a prohibited device. And I think, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that can be up to 10 years in prison. You definitely have it confiscated from you. But anyway, there's a lot of pushback against this bill. It's not the only provision in Bill C-21, though, and how it pertains to firearms. Also, it wants to incorporate basically what they call a red flag law in the United States, which is something we kind of have here, but it's similar to what's currently in the United States. So Biden's got this red flag law idea, basically saying that anybody can go to a judge and say, hey, my friend here, who, he talks online, he talks shit all the time about my preferred political candidate, and I know he has a bunch of guns, and I'm worried that he might do something rash. Can you take his guns away from him, please? And then they can. That's what they want. They want just average citizens to be able to call somebody out and have their guns taken from them. Well, that's what Bill C-21 is going to do. And it's going to be ex parte. So you won't even know it's happening. You don't have the opportunity to go before that judge and defend yourself. So this is, in the United States, it's completely unconstitutional. It's a violation of their Second and 14th Amendment rights. In Canada, it's a violation of, property rights, which is constitutional but not charter. So anyway, so I hope it doesn't pass. I don't think it has a lot of traction because I'm just getting into airsoft now. I really want to get into airsoft. And I don't want to just shoot them in my garage. So yeah, that's what that is. And if you want more information on it, watch Runkle of the Bailey. He's a YouTuber. I think he's based out in Calgary, somewhere not in Ontario. I don't believe he's in Ontario. But he's a YouTuber and lawyer who specializes in firearms law and criminal defense law. So, yeah. Let's see. We got another comment here. Good evening, everyone. Stopping by to say hi before sleep. Hey, Six. How are you, man? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Have yourself a good night's sleep. You missed a good story about my colonoscopy, but you know what? I can fill you in later on Discord. I'm sure you'll love that. Maybe I'll send pictures.
Cheers, dude.
6E boy, thanks for stopping by. Thanks, Irving. Anyway, so that's Bill C-21 in a nutshell. So they're coming for our toys now. They're not just coming for our guns. They're coming for our toy gun. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, on the face of it, it's retarded, and it's literally a toy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you can hurt somebody with it, but you're never going to kill somebody with it. I don't care how close you are.
Yeah, I mean, we banned lawn darts, right?
That's
back
true.
In the 80s.
Yeah, that was a fucking nuts. Here we go. 60 saying Texas would love to have 2 new Texans named Craig and Irving. I would do it in a minute, Irving, if I knew I could have a job lined up down there, or 6, sorry. If I knew I could have a job lined down up there, and if I could convince my wife to move there with me, which I think is, hell's going to freeze over first.
Funny thing, I've been, looking to move, and Alberta's been on my list. Absolutely. Right. Because I always thought it was difficult, if not impossible, to get into the US for a Canadian who's not looking to move illegally. I'm not going to be an illegal immigrant. Turns out the company for which I work is multinational. And in my job postings online, now that I'm an employee, I can, through the company, apply to open American positions. Now, they're very difficult to get as a Canadian, but if I were a candidate through the company, I would be able to get a temporary work visa. And if things were to work out, I could get the company or perhaps someone I know who lives there, perhaps in the state that I might get to live in, wink, 6, sponsored for permanent residency.
There you go.
So I might actually be able to move to Texas.
That would be good. And you know what? If they secede, I would strongly urge my wife that we should. It's the move we should make. I know she won't like it because her parents are here, all her family's here, and her parents are older. But I would strongly suggest that it's the move we make because I don't think things are going to get more free here in Canada. If anything, they're going to get worse. So
yeah,
there's
there's talk of what is it? They want to somehow like ban shit talking of political candidates during election time.
Yeah, are you fucking kidding me? That's the purpose of elections, so people can talk shit about them. It's not so we can vote for a new leader because nobody fucking cares.
Oh, I saw this great thing that if Did Not Vote was a party in Canada, they would have won all but 3 provinces.
Yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, what does that tell you about our process? People are disillusioned by it. And that's why I keep saying democracy's garbage and universal suffrage is a bad idea. The fact is we have universal suffrage now. Everybody who's above the age of 18 can vote. And yet we have so few people voting. Even when it's supposed to be an important year. We have so few people turning out to vote that it means nothing. It's meaningless. It's like you said, the small, 5-block area in Toronto determines the results for the entire province. That's not right.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's not right. And I mean, the ancient Greek philosophers talked about the failings of democracy. And that's the reason why in the United States they said, you know what? We don't want a democracy. They suck. Let's do a republic instead.
Yeah.
And I know it's a democratic process, but it's different. And there's a reason why the Democrats want to get rid of the Electoral College. And that's because they would prefer a straight democracy because they know they can rule over the majority with a minority when it comes down to the end of it. Because it's not simple majority rule in the case of a democracy in the United States either, because you would still have so few people voting.
Yeah.
Especially because the candidates that the Democrats are fielding are so fucking awful, and so are the Republicans, that it ends up being a minority of a majority deciding what happens for the rest of the fucking country. That's why democracy sucks. Greater Ajax sponsor would have to show enough money on their income taxes to pay their own bills plus yours if you were to become unemployed at Irving Twin. That's true. You got to be able to either have means of your own support or whoever's going to sponsor you is going to be able to support you as well. That's the issue, right?
Well,
that's why
Ajax.
You should marry 6. If you marry 6, then you're better off.
That I do love the man.
Faggot. Just joke. I
was going to say, though, if he can feed a cat, he can feed me. It's fine. Like, don't worry.
I am interested to see if Texas secedes. I know they grumble about it every couple of years. I think that things are getting so bad in the U.S. right now that it may actually have some momentum. In the same way that Alberta may separate, things are getting bad enough that it sounds to me like Albertans are going to push it. They're going to push
Alberta is going to separate as long as they do it right.
Yeah.
They can't just push for separation now the way that Quebec every once in a while just jumps up and goes, "Nah, we are leaving." It's like, no, you're not. You're not capable of doing it.
Right.
But they've been talking about it. There's a number of Alberta First federal parties trying to get footing right now, along with their new provincial party. They actually were up around the last election, called the Wild Rose Party.
Yep.
Didn't get any traction though.
Yeah.
But now a lot of people are looking toward. It's getting a lot. Like, they're definitely more popular than the PPC.
Yeah. Well, the PPC's tough. One, they've got a head who's Quebecois, right? And not to speak ill of Albertans, but they've issues with Quebecois politicians running the country. So I'm sure they're going to be naturally skeptical of someone like Maxime Bernier, even though I'm sure he's popular. He has a very strong base there, but all in all of Alberta probably is distrustful of another Quebecois politician trying to run things, right?
But they also the people I'm seeing talking about it aren't talking about let's just up and leave. They're talking about, look, we've got to get refineries properly up and running so we don't have to export oil and import gas. We can still do that, but we'll be able to refine our own gas. We have to start working on pharmaceuticals here. so that we can produce our own medicines, yada yada, like, and everything. And then 10 years from now, when we say, we won't have to take a vote and worry about what Canada thinks. It'll just be, we're out.
Yeah.
Right. And considering that, if I'm not mistaken, most of our active duty soldiers and most of our veterans are from Alberta.
Oh, is that right?
Like the lion's share. That if you look at, we have 13 or 10 provinces and 3 territories, something like almost 20% of all of our soldiers came out of Alberta. You're not going to be able to stop them.
Well, yeah, but that's also getting that military on board with it. So you'd almost have to like recruit a province militia from the active military there. And now, the problem with doing that, though, that would be seen as sedition, right?
Yeah, but who cares? You can't. Greater Canada wouldn't be able to stop them.
No, I realize that, but it would be a pretext. It would be a pretext for them to try. Is what I'm saying. It would be a pretext for them to try and use, actual force against it.
And I'm pretty sure that the Albertan plan for like the contingency for that is let them come.
Yeah,
like
come and take it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And you know what? Great for them, and I hope it happens. In the medium to long term, as opposed to the long to long term. But Florida is also looking very, very, very nice right now. And the cool thing is about the company I work for, it owns a subsidiary based in Florida. And I can apply for jobs under that subsidiary. I think, though, I'd be like in the Miami area. And I don't know if I want to be in the Miami area. Maybe Orlando? No, Orlando's central. It's on the coast kind of thing. It's all the coastal big cities. But either way, and they also have places in the Carolinas. But I think I'd go for Florida because DeSantis seems to be the only person in the United States with a fucking head screwed on right.
And I don't know if you've noticed, Ron DeSantis, when he's talking now, he's always with the hands, always with the Trump hands. Have you noticed that? You caught that?
Yep. He's learned from the guy, right?
Yep.
Oh my God. He just teleported. Irving just teleported away. Holy crap. Superpowers. He's got teleportation powers. I don't know where he went. He'll be back, I'm sure.
Was it that crazy?
What's funny is in the stream here, it didn't look like you getting up. You were talking and then you were gone. It was hilarious. I'm like, oh my God, Irving teleported away. It's amazing.
But hold on.
Yeah, no, I like DeSantis. I like DeSantis. And I don't think a bottle opener?
Under C21, because yes, it is a bottle opener, a 50 cal bottle opener. That's a legit 50 cal round.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
inactive. It's an active. Yeah. Under C21, I don't think. Here's the thing: in airsoft, though, right? There's lots of people who make space guns. They're guns that look like sci-fi guns.
Oh,
right. I could have one of those, but I can't have one that looks like an M4.
Even though this thing has functionality.
Yep, exact same functionality, exact same, but it's because it looks like it. And I think the reason they do it is because, one, there was a story that in Toronto a few years ago, there's some guys buying airsoft guns at a couple $100 a piece, pistols, right? And converting them into actual functioning pistols. They basically took them apart, put in new parts, because you can order parts online for guns, right?
Right.
So you buy certain aspects of an actual gun. The airsoft gun looks enough and has a housing close enough to an actual striker fire pistol that it could be used as the casing for gunworks. Now they're shit, they'll probably fall apart after you fire them 10 times, but they'll kill somebody. So that's part of it. Also, these milsim guns look so much like regular guns that in the public, if you were to go in and try and rob a bank or something, you could take one of these milsim guns and nobody would know the difference because they look exactly the same. Apart from, it'll have the company's logo on it and stuff like that. But if you're not looking at the company logo, we don't do orange tips in Canada. They're not required. So that's why they look so realistic. Now, some people are saying, well, why don't we just adopt orange tips? That would be a nice compromise. I'm like, no, fuck it. Why do we need to adopt orange tips? We've been safe this entire time without airsoft guns, killing anybody, or here's the thing: you have to do something illegal in order to do something bad with an airsoft gun. That is, try and convert it to a real gun,
Right.
or try and use it as though it were a real gun to break the law. But by and large, the airsoft community are just a bunch of people playing in the woods with their toy guns. So leave them the fuck alone. I don't think it's going to pass. I hope it dies, but yeah. Emigrating to the United States is looking better and better all the time. Especially after, did you hear about the announcement today from our government?
Our Ontario?
Yeah. Ontario. Is it Ontario or Canada-wide?
I'm more focused on what's happening here because.
Well, yeah, understandable.
Yeah, no, the extended lockdown in Ontario and the new powers for municipal and provincial police.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have more details on the provincial police.
Yeah, only because I watch Runkle of the Bailey. So if you guys don't subscribe to Runkle of the Bailey and you're at all interested in firearms law in Canada, or you're all interested in basically, rights law in Canada, then he's the guy to watch. His channel's very, low key. It's just him sitting at a desk talking about the law. He's a lawyer. He covers firearms law. He covers criminal defense law. And he talked about it basically like this. He essentially said, right now, cops can pull you over for any reason at all, but they have to have a reason. There has to be a reason. They can't just pull you over because they feel like pulling you over. So here's the thing. If you're driving a car that matches the description of a car that was used in a robbery or a hit and run or something like that, they can pull you over. And they can say, hey, look, here's why we pulled you over. Your car's matching the description. We don't have the plate information, but it's the same color, same model, same year. Where are you coming from? And you're expected to answer. And if you don't answer, you can be charged with obstruction, right? Because they got a reasonable purpose for stopping you. But what this new power does is means that cops can pull you over because you're driving somewhere and they think you might be violating the COVID restrictions in terms of the stay-at-home orders, whether or not you've got a legitimate reason to go out or not. But the thing is, that's not committing a crime. Going out is not committing a crime. There's no law in the books that says cops have to stop anybody who they suspect of violating an emergency order. So this is what they can do. You're driving along. You're dressed in casual wear. You're not dressed in a suit. You're not dressed in a work uniform. And they say, that guy's probably just going out to fuck around. When there's a stay-at-home order, we have to stop him. And they'll stop you. Where are you going? And if you don't tell them, or if you tell them anything other than I'm going to work or I'm going for exercise, going to the gym, or I guess can't go to the gym because they're closed, going to the park to run around on the track, then, you say that, they'll go, okay, be on your way, have fun. If you say it's none of your business where I'm going, now they can charge you. Now they can give you a ticket. And that's, to me, horseshit. Let's see. We've got a couple of invest in. Oh, there's a bunch of comments here. All right, so first off, we got
Texas. Do you know how cheap whiskey is in Texas?
Yeah, WR Costin, hey there. Stream Shield Medus, thanks, Six. Appreciate that. Hope you have a spare bedroom for Irving's liquor vault next 6 minutes. Thanks, Ajax. Hey, Costin. Yes, welcome, Costin, if I haven't said it already. I'll have to get a label maker to distinguish my booze from Irv's. You guys drink different stuff. Six, you drink booze out of a car, and he drinks Bareface. Greater Ajax. If that's the rubber stamp, it'll be cheaper than the labels, true enough. Greater Ajax. Word up, Costin. All right. I was once pulled over for supposedly weaving within my lane. I think he just wanted to check out my 76 Trans Am. Probably. Or were you weaving in your lane? How wide was your lane? Anyway, who cares if you're staying in your lane if you're weaving? Fucking cares. Anyway, doesn't matter. Welcome to another 13 years of liberal rule here in Ontario. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's a problem because, like you said before, Canadians don't fucking care. And they'll vote for the guy with the nicer hair and the guy who seems nicer. Aaron O'Toole is not going to win the Prime Minister's election. No. He will not. No. And I commented on something he posted today because remember back when he was running for the leadership, He said no carbon tax. That was his promise. No carbon tax. Well, now he just posted something recently about how here's what we're going to do to fight climate change. And it's essentially the liberal plan. But it all comes down to we're going to invest in infrastructure. We're going to invest in green energy, just like the liberals. But there's not going to be a carbon tax. What we're going to do instead is we're going to charge tariffs on products coming in, a carbon tariff. That's a tax. It goes on the end consumer. So fuck off. So I commented on his Facebook post that C in your logo looks an awful lot like an L, because he's no different than Justin Trudeau, except he has less hair and he's a little bit fatter.
Did he even vote against the sex-selective abortion bill?
I'm not aware of that. What was that?
Someone put forth what do they call it? Private members bill to make sex-selective abortion illegal.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
And he voted against it.
He said people should have the right to abort because they found out they're having a boy instead of a girl, or vice versa.
Yeah.
What a cocksucker.
And I said the way
conservative right there.
I said the way to get liberals on board is to call that transphobic, right? If assigning gender at birth is transphobic, assigning gender before birth has to be just as bad, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You don't know how that fetus is going to identify in adulthood.
Six says, Craig Bragg, Irving Twin, I'd love to have you guys on my game stream next week. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. When are you doing it?
Tuesdays, I believe.
Tuesdays? Okay. And is he doing a Jackbox TV? Or does he do something else? I love Jackbox. That stuff's fun.
A lot of Jackbox games, occasional Amogus.
Does okay, I would love to do it. Just a quick question, and this isn't qualifying anything. Do you do that rap battle one with the fucking robots?
He did.
I love that game. That's so much fun. It's so much fun. Costin says, I hereby accuse Irving Twin of being a Torontonian. He's an Etobicokean.
I'm a Texan trapped in a Torontonian's body.
There you go.
That's how I identify.
I'm a libertarian personally, but what do you know? And the sad thing is that many people in my Facebook feed are and have been calling for this shit, more lockdowns. I know, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I was saying to Tegan on her stream that when I'm speaking out against these measures that the government is enforcing, I feel like I was on acid in college, like what I was when I was on acid in college. When you're on acid, there's this sort of perception that I had that the few of us that dropped acid were experiencing a different reality than the people who didn't. So everybody who wasn't experiencing that reality, everybody who didn't drop acid they couldn't relate to us. And I feel the same way when talking about these COVID measures. Everyone I talk to says, well, it's only people who travel that have to be locked in a hotel room for 3 days. I'm like, do you hear what you just fucking said? Why is that okay? Oh, you got to protect grandma. Grandma needs to protect grandma. Grandkids need to protect grandma. It's not up to me to protect your grandma. For fuck's sakes. Let me live my life. And I keep saying this. Why are people getting so upset with other people who just want to live their fucking lives? Do you like being trapped in this perpetual shithole that we call a dystopian Canada? Like, and then I redoubt back to Loki was right. People just want to be ruled. That's what it seems to be. That's why we have the soft bigotry of low expectations for government. As long as they feign being in control and taking care of things, we're like, okay, I guess we'll just go along with it.
And it's so I told you before we got started, I've been feeling a little down.
Yeah.
It's really getting to me. It's demoralizing, and not just the lockdowns and the draconian measures, the people's response to the draconian measures. Because I realized, like, there's all these sayings like, oh, if you ever wondered how a authoritarian government came into power, just look around you, and you know what, evil prevails when good men fail to act. And it's so much worse. It is so much more stupid and pathetic than that. You know how authoritarians come into power? Like this. Ready? Too many people just go, and that's it. One guy. Yeah. If one guy wants power and everybody else goes, then that's it. Then he rules all of them suddenly. These people are like, This is why the zombie genre is so popular and people don't get it. It's because it's a representation of the complete somnambulism of most people in society. That when you start talking to the people who aren't on acid, Craig, about this shit, they turn to you and they either shut you down or convert you into one of them.
Or try to anyway.
Yeah, but either you're completely shut out, which is the same as being dead in zombie terms, or you have to stop talking about the draconian measures and just, yeah, that crazy show on TV last night, that was great, right? And now you're just another zombie. One or the other. And yeah, that's why I'm a little down.
I hear you, Craig. Perhaps those acid drops made you more lucid. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I had my mind open. I wonder what DMT would do.
Tegan confirmed for having dropped acid.
Hey, the Tegan Alexander Osmond channel. First time being here at the same time as you. Okay, so Costin, you have a fan in Costin. Are you the Tegan that Craig Bragg just spoke of? Yes, this is Tegan Alexander Osmond. Yes, WR. Okay, so yeah, and that's why I'm saying it's a soft bigotry of low expectations. You know, I was in the waiting room waiting for my procedure today, and they had this CP24, whatever the hell it was, on the TV, much louder than it needed to be. Thank you very much.
Hold on. Was it overrun? Did that hospital look like, you know, there are patients dying in the hallways and shit?
No, there's fucking like 6 people in the same waiting room as me. Now, I don't know what the ICU's like. Melina's been following the ICU stats because she wants to see if my surgery is going to be postponed again, because it was postponed from the 22nd. It's now going to be on the 29th. But so 1 week, that's not so bad. But so they had this thing on. Yeah, here's the thing. It's a new hospital. It was built in the last 10 years. It's very modern, very well staffed, very well appointed, and it's not overrun. Now, I don't know what the ICU looks like, but in looking at the stats, ICU patients don't number hugely at that hospital. I think there's a total of, in Halton, which is where I reside, I think there's a total of, I think my wife said 460 ICU patients total. That's not ICU COVID patients. That's 460 ICU patients total for all of Halton. So that includes Halton Hills, Milton, Burlington, Oakville. Altogether, that's roughly a population of, I don't know, a couple of million. It's like 2 million probably, with all those, or 1.5 million. Anyway, for 1.5 million people, only 460 ICU people being in bed, and they're probably at 96 or 98% capacity. But like you said in your most recent video, Irving, they're always at that. Because they don't build extra beds because the government, they're frugal, they're cheap. They don't build a bunch of ICU beds they're not going to use, right? Even though they should in this case, because they've decided that they're going to be the sole provider of healthcare in Canada. They should have extra beds on hand or the ability to make them in short order, because they don't care about going into debt. They'll just print more fucking money.
Sure.
So, and my wife says, well, what do we do if there's another surge? I'm like, because she's concerned about what's happening in terms of lockdowns, but she's more concerned about, is it ever going to end? Because all I keep seeing are these numbers going up. But I'm like, Melina, well, the only reason that these things go on is not because the numbers going up. The only reason these lockdowns and these measures are going on is because the government realizes that we're now just willing to accept it. So all they have to do is the numbers are ticking up by 3%. It's got to stay locked down. It's like, we've increased your chocolate ration by 5%, when in reality they dropped it by 10. But I said, she said, well, what do we do then? I'm like, we open back up. Okay, and what if a bunch of people get sick? They go to the hospital. Well, what if the hospitals can't handle it? They could build emergency hospitals. They have an armed forces that is not currently fighting in a war anywhere. We could build emergency hospitals in the parking lots of these hospitals. We could put emergency situations, and that's what they should have been doing instead of spending millions of dollars on advertising about COVID.
It's springtime, right? This is a great time to do outdoor field hospitals, and that's the other thing that you were saying. Like ICU beds in short order. ICU in short order. We've had over a year, and they haven't done it. Just in the past couple of weeks, did Doug Ford announce, oh, yeah, we're going to be building new ICUs and training new ICU nurses. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you start that 15 days to flatten the curve ago? Like, that's when we should have started that.
Yeah.
Right? Take existing nurses.
If after the first,
sorry?
Right. If I were to give them the benefit of the doubt that they were going to say, okay, we're going to shut the economy down for 15 days because we can't afford to do it any longer, and we need to flatten the curve so our hospital system isn't overwhelmed. I might have been a little bit resistant. Yeah, I would have been a little resistant to that. But if after 15 days they said, okay, that didn't flatten the curve, unfortunately, we're going to have to go a little bit more drastic, and we're going to have to ramp things up. And part of that ramping things up should have been, we're going to build 1,000 hospital beds in each of these regions, specifically for treating COVID patients. Once those beds are built, we're going to open back up, because then we're prepared for anything that might happen coming forward. And they didn't do that. Instead, they spent millions of dollars in advertising about and propagandizing the pandemic. Anyway.
Well, this is the other thing that I was telling you about that. Like, if it was a real drastic emergency, then all of the advertising would be, everyone stay calm, don't panic, that will make it worse, yada yada. But instead, all the advertising is, you're not scared enough, you need to be more scared of this. This is terrifying, and you don't understand because you're stupid. And it's true.
It's true. And you know what, I can't talk to people about it. I can't talk to normies about it. I can't talk to people who didn't drop the acid in college, because they just don't have any desire to see it.
Yeah, there it is again, though. The normies, the NPCs, these are the zombies, man. They're real life zombies.
Yeah, it's true. And I think you're right. I think that's the reason why zombie fiction and zombie movies are so popular. Probably has something to do with the fact that people realizing that they're outnumbered, fighting for their lives, fighting, for their freedom, kind of thing.
Funny thing, the title of the comic book and subsequent TV show, The Walking Dead, does not refer to the zombies. It refers to the living as the Walking Dead, and that's exactly what these people sleepwalking through their lives are the Walking Dead.
Yeah. It's speaking of the comic, Robert Kirkman, who created Walking Dead, a couple of things. I've heard a rumor that he may be buying DC Comics out of Warner AT&T. They're looking to sell the comic book arm of their business because it's not a moneymaker, and apparently a big time fan who has the money is in talks to possibly buy it. So that would be really cool if he actually ended up buying the DC Comics. Second, have you been watching Invincible on Prime?
No. What's Invincible?
It's Robert Kirkman's other comic book property. It's a superhero book that he wrote for Image way back in the day. You've never read Invincible?
What's that?
You've never read Invincible?
No.
Great series. You should read it. You can get the entire thing in like a big omnibus volume, but it's a really great. It's a 4-color superhero book, and but it sort of turns things on its head because it's insanely violent, So you read 3/4 of the book, and you think, oh, this is a really cool, alternate reality 4-color superhero storyline about this young kid whose father is an alien, and he develops his powers, and it's him making his way through the world trying to be a superhero and live up to his dad's ideal. And then boom, smacks you in the face with the truth. It is so violent. It's filled with conspiracy. It's filled with like lots of like little subplots and machinations going on by government, by other parties. It's really, really good. And they made an animated series, which is very, very true to the books in terms of the tone and the plot. Not in terms of it's not the perfect timeline, but it covers all the points, Really good. If you have Amazon Prime, you should watch it. They've had 5 episodes so far, I think, 5 or 6. Really, really good.
I will borrow someone's login. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so Costin says, I shared this stream in an local anti-lockdown group of Facebook. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The only reason my last video got so many views, I don't know if you noticed or not, I got like 200 and something views. because I shared it with the Brawny Creek Pet Lovers, Dog Lovers page. My wife's a member, and I'm a member of that page because we both go to Brawny Creek to walk our dog.
Right.
And so I joined the group, and then I posted the video.
You
The
fucking
sad thing about it is, nobody got the fucking joke. Nobody got the joke.
Are you kidding me?
My wife warned me too. She says, "You know what, Craig? They're going to think you're serious." I'm like, "Really? You don't think they'll pick up on the fact that it's a joke?" And no word of a lie, I went there, bumped into somebody I walk my dog with regularly, and she's like, "Craig, I saw your video. Oh my god, those ducks! Yeah, they're crazy, right? That I saw ducks there in the pond a couple times." I'm like, "Oh yeah, did you get it?" She's like, "Get what?" I was like, "Well, did you watch to the very end?"
Don't spoil it. Make other people waste 6 minutes of their life, Craig.
It's not a waste. It was a great joke. I said, "Did you watch to the end?" And her husband goes, "No, I didn't watch to the end, but why? What'd you say?" I'm like, "Oh God." I said, "Nobody at work got it either because I shared it at work. Nobody at work got it either." And I said, these damn ducks were trying to eat my dog, but I shouldn't be surprised. She's purebred." And then they finally go, "Oh." And then she goes, "Yeah, but those ducks, I've never seen them attack another dog." I'm like, "There were no ducks, girl. It was a joke."
Bread. She's pure bread.
Pure bread. She got the joke once I repeated it, but she still was convinced that there were ducks in that fucking pond, and that this happened to my dog. And I'm like, it did not happen to my fucking dog. Anyway,
and they missed it. They missed the soul-crushing way you stared into the camera and said, "She is purebred."
She is purebred.
And I just like I laughed and wanted to punch you at the same time.
My buddy messages me at like 11 o'clock at night, and he says, "Damn you, Craig." I'm like, LOL, dad jokes for the win. Okay, greater access question. Weapon of choice when the Vax zombie rise: scattergun, bat, or sword? When the Vax zombies rise, well, they won't be undead, so they're still considered people. So in Canada, you can't use self-defense. It's not a reason. Well, it's complicated, but if you have a bat in your car and you hit somebody with it, you're going to jail. It doesn't matter what the situation was. It doesn't matter if they're attacking you. Oh, a katana.
No, this is a straight blade.
Oh,
yeah,
like a Tai Chi blade kind of thing.
No, like it's Japanese, but it's more like.
Show me the point. Oh, okay, so blade.
Yeah, and it's short. It's like maybe 2 feet, a little over 2 feet.
Wakazashi.
But yeah, it's light, it's durable, right? Has some fun, tricky things in it.
I'll use my
throwing blades
because I don't want to kill anybody. So I'll use my my newest acquisition. It is a G&G Piranha Mark 1. It's a gas blowback pistol. I have it in the other room if you want me to go get it.
Sure.
All right. Hold the stream down for a moment while I go get my mark.
I'm going to lead them to Etobicoke. They're already here. Etobicoke is overrun. Overrun, especially south of Bloor and Etobicoke. It's all zombies. They don't even need vaccinations. It's like that. When you're already autistic and you get a vaccination, level up.
That's not funny.
It's not, but it's hilarious.
Keegan,
I know.
Keegan would take.
I mean,
why not?
She can be offended if she wants.
She's got a good sense of humor.
But we here, all of us, I hope, know that vaccinations don't cause autism.
No,
but that is hilarious.
All right, so here we are. Trying to get it framed in there. This is the G&G Mark 1 Piranha, or Piranha Mark 1. It's not a full slide. It's a half slide.
It looks very real.
Yeah.
but it doesn't. Like there's something about
it's not modeled after an existing striker fire or semi-automatic handgun. It's modeled after all of them. It's meant to look like a semi-automatic handgun, but I just like that it's a half slide. Well, I lost the BB.
Yeah.
Because the way it works is the gas blowback, basically, when you pull the trigger and the gas fires the BB, it shoots back the slide and cycles into the BB, just like a gun would.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's only a half slide, it's not using a lot of that gas to do it. So you actually get quite a few more shots out of this thing than you would through like a Glock, where it's the whole slide is moving, right? Anyway, that's my newest acquisition. I want to take it out to a field somewhere and shoot my friends.
Just make sure you have sufficient eye gear, protective eye gear.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to lead them to Etobicoke. Thanks, Costin. At least you're not leading them to my neck of the woods. I'm sick of Toronto sending me all of their retired lefties anyhow. Firearms are evil. Load yours up and give them to me. No. Spent a lot of money on my guns. I'm not going to give them to anybody, not even the government. And I'm not selling them to it either. So I guess we should move on. We've been talking about this depressing shit for a while. Let's say. Oh, let's talk about Say, your most recent video.
Oh.
If you haven't checked out Irving's most recent video called Experts Say, I encourage you all to do it. It was it's been a while since you uploaded one. And the one you uploaded was really, really good. It was spot on.
Too kind. Thank you. So
basically, I'll mention today, I started talking about this. When I was in the waiting room, they had the TV on, was playing, CP24. And while I was waiting, I heard that awful sibilant voice of our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, talking about how we need to do this. This third wave, it's going to be a rough one, but we need to do this. I know everybody's frustrated, but just a little longer, and we'll get through this. And I'm like, oh God, I want to change this channel so bad. But there's other people in there, right? And I don't know if they're paying attention. But a guy comes in, he sits down right across from the TV, and he's transfixed by it. He's staring at it like a zombie. And then the news announcer comes on and basically says, here's the top stories we're working on today. Justin Trudeau just said this. And then they proceeded to play it again. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, can you stop? Can you stop, please, with all this fucking fear porn? It's driving me nuts. And so I almost went up to the desk and say, hey, would you mind changing the channel to anything other than this? But I didn't. And I was tempted to get up and just turn it off. But again, there was this guy sitting there watching it intently, and I didn't want to piss him off, cause an issue. But it's just Experts Say. Here's the thing: everybody in the hospital is following the rules. They're all wearing masks. They want me to wear a mask, but other than that, it seems it's business as usual in the hospital. The gist of Irving's Experts Say thing is that a health official for the Ontario government came out and said, it was the Ontario government, right?
Toronto
government came out and said, hey, data shows a rise in ICU young people in ICU beds, but the data didn't show that at all. And he was kind enough to share the links that showed, or the screen caps of showing who was being admitted into ICU for COVID last year and this year, and how it broke down
by week, actually.
By week, yeah. Was it? But it compared 2020 to 2021, right? Or was it?
It goes. I think it goes from like November 2020 right up to the date. So the week of the day she said it.
But she's saying younger people are in ICU, and there's like 0.001.000 for all those weeks. So there hasn't been a spike. Now, unless you say younger people means 50 and under, then okay, yeah, maybe there are a few more people who are 50 and under going in.
Actually, what it meant was not the 70 plus group. That's what younger meant. So that the youngest person in the ICU at the time was 59.
Okay.
Which was younger than the 70 plus, which is the vast majority of them. And then a week after that, there was someone who was 27, and a week after that, there was actually a child in ICU.
Yeah.
But that's yes, yeah,
really
a single child. I think he was like 9 or 10 years old.
Wow.
But he wasn't on a ventilator. But he was
got
very
young
sick.
lungs to breathe.
Sure. But what wasn't discussed was any underlying conditions he might have, or like it was basically all just like, feel bad for this kid. This is so terrible. If even one child ever gets sick, we should all lock ourselves away in a closet and never see another human, just to protect that one child from ever being harmed by anything.
Costa says, experts people, I ought to know. I'm an expert. I bet you are. At least Lindsay Morrison, weekend meteorologist, is nice to look at. I don't know who that is. I don't watch TV, man. I don't watch the news. Or is she on CP24? I guess she's on CP24.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I think that's what he's getting at. But like, as far as I know, not a single child, like anyone under 19, not one has died in Canada.
No.
And if there is, it's one.
And I guarantee you, when they do an autopsy beyond just writing on the paper, COVID for cause of death, they'll find that there was some underlying issue that they weren't aware of before, and that's what actually led to his death.
Or that they were totally aware of. But if you put COVID, you get more money from the government. So,
yeah. Tegan says, I got out, but I wish everyone a great night. Awesome stream as always, gents, and super entertaining. Keep it rocking, and thanks for all you do. Thanks, Tegan. You're a sweet.
Thanks, Tegan. I hope I didn't upset you, because I really do find that funny. I'm sorry.
I don't think you did. She told me.
Okay, good.
She told me in an email she doesn't get offended over stuff like that. So I think she's probably good. But I'm sure she'll tell you privately, you son of a bitch. All right, so more comments. Costin is very active tonight. The people are calling for 0 cases of COVID drive me nuts. I know, this is it. Since when do we're all germaphobes now? I said that in another video. We are all expected to be so afraid of every surface, every other person, that they're gonna put bubonic plague in our lungs, that we're not living our lives normally. It's insane.
And it's more so because even the CDC and WHO, they can no longer resort to flat out lies. The information is too widely available, so they can't even try and cover it up. The odds of getting coronavirus from a contaminated surface are 1 in 10,000.
Right.
This is from the CDC.
Yeah.
Asymptomatic spread is effectively nil.
So why the mask?
Statistically zero. Masks don't work anyway. Right. Even if you have COVID and I have COVID, and I don't, and we both wear a mask and we sit in a room, either I'm going to get it from you or I'm not. The mask doesn't change that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the argument would be, well, if you sneeze, this is something a friend of mine said to me, and I was like, are you kidding, man? Like, I was like, if I'm not sick, I'm not going to sneeze or cough. Yeah, but you could just sneeze. You might just sneeze and not be able to stop it. Then I put it in my arm, my elbow, like I've been doing for the last fucking 15 years. That was no problem before. Yeah, but how do I know you're going to do that? Like, well, fuck, man. If you're afraid, stay home. Well, but why should I have to stay home because you're not following the rules? I'm like, look, man, freedom's messy. And he laughs when I say this because it's one of my favorite phrases to say. Freedom's messy. You're going to have to live with the fact that people are going to do shit you don't like. And you're going to have to live with the fact that there are risks with going out your fucking door. If you're trying to eliminate all risks when going out your door, you're going to be led to a very miserable fucking life. So,
look, I mean, how do I know you don't have coronavirus, so you have to wear a mask and do these lockdowns? How do I know that you're not going to rape, murder, and eat a child, so we got to throw you in prison now? It's the same logic.
Yeah.
It's the exact same
it is when you think about it, because I mean, you could say, well, I don't have a history of raping and murdering children. Well, I don't have a history of having coronavirus. So No, it is mind-boggling how people have taken it to this degree. It is just, and I blame the media who are right lockstep with this agenda. And you know, I love my wife, but she's a normie, and she doesn't know. She gets all of her news from what people are telling her directly through like her friend chats and from Facebook. And this isn't a dig at her because that's how people mostly get their information these days, unless you're watching the news regularly. And I don't watch the news, and very few people I know actually watch the news. So they're getting it through social media, and social media is on board with spreading misinformation or not giving all the facts or making, you know, sensational headlines that you don't actually go and read the details. So she's like, well, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to control our lives? What good is it for the government to do this? I'm like, the end in and of itself is gaining more control over our lives. The more control they have over our lives, the more they can do in the long run. So if they can convince us to stay home for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years, they can convince us to do anything. And all they have to do is sell more fear. I'm like, just read George Orwell's 1984. Everything that this government did was based on everyone else's safety. And if you have the threat of war, you have the threat of a pandemic, you have the threat of black people against white people, you have the threat of cops, people will be so in such this state of locked state of psychosis that they'll let you do anything to them. But that's the thing. The news is basically here to make everybody in a perpetual state of fear. And so that more control can be exerted over us. And that control is the end. It's not a means to an end. It's not so that it can do something, you know, even more evil at the end of it. It's just being able to control us.
Yeah. And you said something there, and I'm going to circle to it. Just stick with me. My employer gave us all travel documents. Papers.
Yep.
You have your papers, so that we can get to and from work relatively unmolested if we were to be, say, pulled over, right? I still have mine from the initial lockdown, so I didn't take a new one because the one I have, I took a big black marker and I wrote "für ihre Sicherheit," which is what the Nazis would use as an excuse for every infringement on human rights of their populace. Anytime they did anything, it means for your safety.
Right.
So yeah, if I ever get pulled over and I'm just gonna pull it out and hand it to them. "Für ihre Sicherheit" written across it.
You should both do DMT and stream the strip. Stream the trip. I've never done DMT. I worry that it'd be fucking boring. We'd just be you and I going, holy fuck, I never noticed.
Oh, okay. Yes. The stream would be terribly boring for viewers. Yeah. DMT is by no means boring.
No, that's what I mean, the stream, not us. We would have probably a great time.
Yeah. So you said you done acid, maybe some mushrooms?
Yeah, I never really got much from mushrooms, but yeah, I've done LSD a number of times when I was in college, yeah.
Okay. LSD is like setting off fireworks in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
DMT is like tethering your brain to a comet while it circles around the sun and disintegrates.
It's a hell of a metaphor, man. Oh, so you've done it then, I take it.
So a buddy of mine just showed up one day out of the blue and he says, "Oh, I have something for you." And I said, "It's a DMT vape pen, isn't it?" He says, "Yeah, how did you know?"
They make DMT vape pens?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And he says, "How did you know?" I say, "I want to say it's because I'm psychic, but I know it's because you've been doing so much DMT, you're psychic, and it's just bleeding out into my mind."
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about DMT. You know, Joe Rogan's had a number of people on his podcast talking about DMT. He's big into DMT. Yeah. I don't think he's a junkie, but I know, you know, he's had a hell of an experience with it. And everybody who has done it says that it was mind opening. Like, and you know, it really help them out. I'd be interested to hear Jordan Peterson's take on mind-altering drugs. I know he's probably touched on them in a few of his lectures, but I'd be interested to hear what he has to say about DMT. He's talked about them when he was talking about God to atheists,
Right.
And that's why people also call it the God chemical or the God drug, because it expands your consciousness.
God molecule.
God molecule.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's produced in your body. But the thing is that I guess this is just one of these things that allows it to be produced when you take it. It's like your body's producing way more of it. I mean, you're actually taking it, but it's almost like those instances where your body does produce DMT is producing it in such a huge amount when you take it, or it's like you would be producing it in such a huge amount. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm not a biologist, but yeah, I'd be interested in seeing what it's all about. It'd have to be the right circumstances. Doing a live stream on a Friday night probably aren't the right circumstances.
No. No, it's not. It's not a party drug, right?
No.
Like, yeah.
LSD's not a party drug either, though.
No, you get a couple of good friends or no one at all, put on your favorite album and just close your eyes and let it take you where it takes you, that kind of thing. Yeah. It's like that. It's very introspective.
Yeah, I don't like LSD anymore. I've had a couple of experiences with LSD that I did not enjoy, and I'm like, you know what? That's just too much. And I kind of feel the same way with cannabis as well. Sometimes I'll take cannabis. I'm like, this is kind of nice, but you know what? I'm ready for it to be over. And it lasts longer than I would have liked. And I feel like I'm kind of dumb when I'm on it too. So, I don't know. Like, I know some people go off on these tangents when they're on cannabis. Their mind starts to race and they get very creative thoughts. That's not my experience. I might be a little bit more perceptive. So if I'm watching a movie on cannabis, I might pick some things up that I wouldn't have picked up before, unless I was like intently trying to watch it or trying to like I watched what did I watch recently? Oh, I watched King of Comedy the other night, and I watched it in earnest. Like, I'd seen it before. You ever seen King of Comedy?
No.
Robert De Niro plays an aspiring comedian, and he hijacks the host of the Jerry Langford show, played by Jerry Lewis, so that he can get himself on the show. That's the long and short of it. But it's a Martin Scorsese film. He was after Taxi Driver. Scorsese's a great director, and it was really, really well done. It was really good, and if you watch it like intently, you pay attention, you start to see just how good it is. Same goes for movies like Jaws. Jaws is a great movie, and it's not just about a big fish. Just watching it from a filmmaking perspective, like to appreciate film, it is a really, really well done film.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But leave it to Weinstock to go ahead and derail the whole fucking stream with one comment.
Yeah, true enough, eh? Well, we mentioned it a little before, I think, about DMT or acid or whatever. That's probably, so it's kind of our fault. We opened the door. But yeah, you ever think of getting into airsoft, Irving?
Not so much. I mean, you say you go back and forth between airsoft and LARP, and LARP is always something that I've wanted to do, right? That's sister and I were.
Yeah, I feel, but you know what the problem is with LARP is, unlike airsoft, it has been taken over by a bunch of social justice freaks. It's full of like woke people. Every time I go on like a board on Facebook that's devoted to a LARP community, there's always, somebody talking about their pronouns and shit like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm too old for that shit. I don't want to get into it. And it's full of furries. It's full of furries now. It's not just about fucking people hitting each other with swords. It's always about these furry relationships and stuff.
That totally opens the door for me to play a villain, like a social justice villain, where I could just go there and like, that would be one of my magic spells, would be to misgender them and just watch them fucking crumble.
Yeah. Go there, call everybody a faggot. Just make them crumble. Yeah. No, but here's the thing. As far as I know, airsoft has not been infected by that. I think it's full of a bunch of den mother safety freaks, but I can deal with those people. But no, I here's the thing, that place in Virginia. If you guys haven't seen, I mentioned it before. This channel on YouTube called Swamp Sniper. He runs this airsoft field called Ballahack in Virginia, and he does these scenarios where it's like he'll do an Old West one, he'll do like a post-apocalyptic Fallout one, he'll do a zombie one. I'm like, that's the kind of LARPing I want to do. Running around the woods, pretending there's zombies chasing me, and me having to fucking kill them in order to survive. That seems like fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's in Virginia, and I would take the 2 weeks quarantine to go to Virginia to play it. But I would go as Canada Man. I would get dressed up as Canada Man with my sidearm, my shield, and I'd go fucking play as Canada Man. Anyway.
Oh yeah, have you been working on that shield?
I've been buying more shit, like to make out the costume. I got a few other things. I got an angle grinder finally, so I now have to cut down the shield and grind off all the paint, so I can affix some metal brackets on there with JB Weld, so I can attach straps to it. Once that's done, then I'm pretty much ready to go. But I think I'll put some Velcro on the inside so I can attach spare magazines to it, so I can carry the shield. And then when I need a magazine, I got to pull the magazine off. And anyway, my drummer LARPed for a year. Don't do it. Okay. Weinstock, tell us the story either in the chat or I'll invite you into the stream and you can tell us the story about his LARP experience or your LARP experience. If you wanna be invited to the stream, just say the word and I'll send you the link. I don't know where I'd send it to. I guess I'd send it in Discord or something.
You could send it to me and I can send it to him, because I guess we could spoil the show. I know Weinstock IRL. So yeah, I'm happy to have him on. Yeah, that'd be great if he could.
Is he gonna dox you? Is he gonna give up your information?
No. The only reason he knows about this exists is because I know he's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna send this to you, Irving. Give me a sec. You can send it to him if he wants to join in the stream. He's more than welcome to. Ugh, 1 sec here.
Yeah, my sister and I really wanted to get into LARP. We even had like pseudo backstories that would be open enough to be flexible.
Yeah. So
that we could.
Oh, Weinstock says don't send it. He doesn't really want to come on board.
Okay.
That's fine. Well, if you want to elaborate a little in the chat, Weinstock, go right ahead. So, how do you know Irving?
We work together.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, because I've definitely at work been feeling people out, and sometimes just being a completely blatant asshole, like standing up in the meeting going, look, masks don't work. I'm not going to tell anyone. You shouldn't follow the stupid policy of wearing masks, but trust me, they don't protect you.
So I've been thinking more about Canada, man. And how I want to incorporate him into oh, he's got to go.
No, I can hear you.
Okay. So I've been thinking more about Canada Man and how I want to incorporate him into a personality for Airsoft, but also how I might try this social experiment out on the political stage. So my thought is create the character, go out and do good works, go out and clean, riverfronts and stuff like that, pick up trash in costume, go hand out, Subway gift cards to homeless people in costume, do videos about what I'm doing, be apolitical about it, set up a Patreon or subscribe star where people can donate so I can buy more of these gift cards to give to homeless people, set up a fund, so to speak, to do more charitable work. So the stuff on YouTube would be apolitical at first. Then it would gradually become more political. Then eventually I launch a political party called the Canada Man Party. And that way anybody in any riding can become a member of the party. And as long as they're willing to knock on doors as in uniform, which would be a variation on what I wear, something superheroic looking, they can be a candidate. And if you're willing to put on the costume and do that, you can be a candidate in your riding. Then we set up an actual political party called the Canada Man Party. Then run for office as Canada Man and do all of our campaign events in costume. If you get a spot in as a member of parliament, when you're on the floor of the House, you have to be dressed in your uniform. And you have to address everybody as though you're that particular Canada Man. You could be, you know, Brian Johnson or whatever of the Canada Man Party. Even when you knock on doors, say, "Hi, I'm Brian Johnson of the Canada Man Party. I want to tell you about our platform." But so Canada Man is a persona that I have when I wear my uniform. But in reality, I'm Craig Bragg of the Canada Man Party. And then eventually I become prime minister and I repeal all these stupid laws that the Liberals have been putting through for the last 7 years.
Because there's a rule, something about if you're publicly known as this thing, you can run as that thing.
You can run as that thing, yeah, because it follows the UK's parliamentary, right? So you can run with your name on the ballot as Canada Man of the Canada Man Party. Or I could, I guess.
See, and before we get to there, I do like the idea of being your sidekick for this, like going around and just like handing out sandwiches and gift cards to homeless people and whatnot. And I would dress up as Berta Boy, right?
Alberta Boy, yeah.
Right. And, you know, you could go about like, you know, chest out and be saying all the wise and kind things. And then I'll chime in with Jiminy Cricket's Canada Man. And you just go, "Shut up, Berta Boy. No one cares about you." And that's how we turn it into the more political leaning.
Right. Right. That would work. I was thinking that people could be like, you know how Captain America had Bucky?
Yeah.
You could be Canucky.
Canucky.
Or quiet, hoser. You'd be hoser or hosehead.
And that should also be something moving again into the actual members of parliament, right? Whenever they're addressing the members opposite, take off, hoser.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. The way the protocol is for the House of Commons, you're not allowed to direct another member directly. You have to speak through the crown. You have to speak through. You say,
or through, the speaker.
To the speaker, "Mr. Speaker, would you ask my colleague on the other side why he's such a hoser?"
Ask the hoser opposite to take off, eh?
All right. Costin says, "Work is evil. Delegate all the work to the Torontonian, or should I call him the Etobicoken?" Yes, the Etobicoken. And then I'll dress up as morbidly obese man. Sure, man. Do what you want, man. No, that's the idea, though. And I was telling my buddy about it. He says, "It sounds like it'd be a good social experiment anyway." I'm like, I have no illusions about it actually going anywhere, but I think it'd be fun to try.
And it'd just be nice to, you know,
do good work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Volunteer at a soup kitchen or a food bank or whatever, dressed as Canada Man.
Like straight up, I've done it before, not often, but like just get a couple people together, buy, you know, 10 loaves of bread and sliced meats and just make some sandwiches and then just walk downtown. And anyone who looks like they need it, give them a sandwich.
Yeah.
Of course, that's illegal right now.
That's the thing. Yeah. And in Quebec, it's illegal to be homeless.
Yeah, no, that's something else.
I wonder how long before curfews come to Ontario, because they've already done the they've already put in place the non-essential goods cordons in Ontario, which boggles my goddamn mind. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Well, these aren't essential goods. You're telling me that clothing isn't essential goods? I need these socks. I need clothes.
No.
I just threw out my last pair of underwear. I need more underwear. It's an essential fucking good. Well, buy it online then. I don't want to give any money to Amazon. I'd rather buy it here. Well, buy it on Walmart online. Jesus fucking Christ.
No, yeah, and that was something Viva Fry covered, that with the curfew and with the restrictions on non-essential goods, the homeless guy couldn't buy socks and then got arrested for being outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he scrounged up a few dollars, and instead of buying liquor, he
bought
went
socks.
to buy warm socks, and they wouldn't sell it to him.
Sorry, it's not essential good. Well, have you seen this maskless ninja guy?
No.
Tegan showed me maskless ninja's channel. So basically, what he does is he's in the United States, but he has a medical exemption. Supposedly, I don't know if he actually does, but he has a medical exemption. So he goes into these stores and shops without a mask on, and they try and stop him, but he just goes and grabs his goods. He calculates it out on his phone how much it's going to cost with taxes and everything. And if they won't sell it to him, he just puts the money on the counter and walks out. And the whole time he's recording it, he tells them they're all a bunch of idiots and leave them alone. You're violating the law because I have a medical exemption. You're not allowed to restrict me from being in here because of my medical exemption. Yada yada yada. It's a violation of the Disabilities Act in the United States to deny somebody service because of a condition they suffer from.
Ours too. Like we have this. And if you look closely at all of the laws and policies passed pretty much all over Canada.
Yeah.
I know for sure in Ontario.
Yeah.
The only requirement is that you say you are exempt.
That's right.
And they cannot ask you for proof.
Well, they could ask you for proof, but you don't have to provide it.
I mean, no, asking you for proof is a violation of the Disability Act, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, like prove you're not disabled. Try and stand up out of that wheelchair. Prove you're disabled. Try and get out of that wheelchair. That's essentially what they're asking you to do.
Yeah.
So Costin says they've considered curfews twice. The last time one of the ministers expressed concerns about riots like in Quebec. Oh, this is the thing. Yeah. I've said this before. The only thing, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is force of will. The government has the force of will to enact these things. The police have the force of will to enforce these things. The only way it's ever going to stop is if the people who don't like it show a stronger force of will. And this leads me to another idea, and it's not mine. It came from somebody I follow on Facebook called Patricia Antione. I don't know if you know who she is, Patricia Antione. Nope. She's in the United States. She posts to Facebook, she posts a bunch of stuff on Facebook about government and about, rights and everything else. She's a libertarian, I think, or maybe just a plain old classical liberal conservative. But she said, basically, here's the thing. The government's not forcing people to wear masks. It's these businesses who are putting these things in place. So for you to say you're violating my rights, they feel justified in saying, I don't care. It's our policy. And the libertarian in me would say, you know what? A business should have the right to refuse service to somebody for any reason at all. However, there are laws in the books that say you can't refuse somebody because of a disability. And this is essentially meeting that requirement, right? So the only thing that you could do, really, and I think this is worth experimenting with, organize people who are against these mask rules not from governments, but from corporations, against these mask rules at like Costco or Walmart or whatever. Organize with a group of these people online and say, on such and such a day, everybody in this area is going to go to the Walmart in such and such a place. We're going to go in with masks on. And then at exactly 12:05 p.m., we're all going to take our masks off. And they can't kick us all out. And they're not going to shut down all of their registers.
Mask mobs.
Mask mobs. Maskless mobs, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a flash mob, but basically of the maskless. And here's the thing. If a number of people do it, and they see, and suppose you're at Walmart and you're wearing a mask and you see 15 people not wearing a mask at that Walmart, you might go, oh, I guess I really don't have to wear a mask then. Cool. I'll take mine off too. Because I'm sure a lot of people are like, I'm wearing this mask to save grandma because COVID is a serious business. But plenty of people are like, I'm wearing this mask because I don't want to put up with the fight of not wearing the mask. But I see 15 other people here also not wearing the mask. Maybe they've loosened their rules. I don't know that this is a flash mob. This could just be a matter of Walmart loosening their rules. Or it could be that people aren't as scared as I thought they all were. I'm going to take mine off too. And then it becomes a critical mass. And that's really the only way that change is going to happen, is having the will and enough numbers to exert that will on a company. Now, my friend says, well, that's not fair. You shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, well, why not? How do you get businesses to change their policies? It's the same way that businesses changed, Sonic the Hedgehog's design. Enough people raised a stink about it, and they changed the character design. Right? It's the same way that games, People piss and moan about how a game's not ready, and then like for instance, No Man's Sky. They released a game with all these promises, and it was all vaporware. It wasn't ready when the game came out. It wasn't doing what they said it was going to do. They pissed and moaned about it. Now the people who make vaporware or make No Man's Sky, every release from now on is going to be free to anybody who bought the original game, because they realize we have a duty to live up to the expectations of our customers. They're giving us money. We have to abide by what they want. And I think woe to the manager who says, okay, there's 200 people here in this Costco. None of them are wearing masks. We're going to shut down the till so they can't buy anything. What do you think the corporates are going to say when they shut down the tills? Not just for the people not wearing masks. They have to shut them down for everybody, right? They basically have to stop selling things. That's going to piss off the entire fucking store with the customers. And the corporate managers are not going to like it. And if it happens in enough Costco's and enough Walmarts and enough other stores, I think you'll see things turn around in terms of these businesses saying, maybe we should rethink our policy. Just an idea. I don't know.
I want that to be true, but I don't know if in a place like Toronto it would be.
Because Acosta says that is blatantly false. The Ontario government is fining businesses for not having mask policies. A certain other party in a certain other country did that sort of thing historically.
Für ihre Sicherheit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like, the extra work is totally voluntary, but those who don't volunteer will have their rations reduced by half.
Right. So but the mask policy, what is it? Is it a specific mandated mask policy by the government, or the business has to have a mask policy in place? The business can have any mask policy they want. Masks are encouraged would be a mask policy. Masks are encouraged but not required. Or masks are encouraged to slow the spread, but please be mindful that some people don't have the ability to wear a mask, and we're not going to oust them because you feel uncomfortable. That would be considered a mask policy, would it not? So, I mean,
okay, the required masks are handled generally by the municipality.
Yep.
And the municipality's bylaws are fairly specific and also have all the exemptions that have to cover their ass against the human rights commissions.
Yeah. Well, that's just it then. Yeah. So then in which case it would take, if that's the case, as you say, or as Costin says, that these mask mandates are put in by the authority, so to speak, then the option would be that the people who do this mask mob at Costco or Walmart or wherever, if they're approached by staff saying you have to wear a mask, it is municipal bylaw, blah blah blah. Just politely refuse. Say, I'm not wearing my mask. I'd like to purchase these items, please. If you won't sell them to me, I'm not leaving until you sell me these items. Call the police and have me arrested for trespassing. And if there's 200 people in a Walmart all saying, yeah, call the police, do you think that the managers will call the police, or do you think they're going to back down? And even if they did call the police, do you think the police would show up with 5 paddy wagons to arrest 200 people? I don't think so.
They sent 200 cops to Grace Life Church in Alberta, right?
I know. But they did that because people were protesting the fence, right? So Grace Life Church, they put up a fence because they were saying, oh, you guys are violating the rules. You can't go into this church. They got beyond the fence and said, fuck you, get out of here. We're going to church. Then 200 cops showed up because the protest was there.
So maybe 200 cops show up to Walmart.
Also, maybe. But I mean, you got to consider what happened at Grace Life Church happened over a course of days. I don't expect that Costco or Walmart are going to want to house customers for 3-4 days while they peacefully protest, do a sit down in their store.
I never got around to my smart ass in this about the pullovers, but let's start here. If 200 people, if I'm part of a mask mob at a Walmart, 200 people not wearing masks, and an associate comes up and says, "Sir, you have to wear a mask." I don't see any cops.
Yeah, there you go. Really?
Yeah, no, we're
So
cool.
too. Well, it's our policy. Well, I don't abide by it.
We're not gonna get. Don't worry, we're not gonna get in trouble. Keep winking
Call the
at
police
them.
then. Call the police and have me arrested. Call the police and
No,
have all 200 of your customers
do it
arrested.
the other way. Do it the other way. Invite them to join with. I don't see any cops. Huh? Come on.
Oh, and then you might get a convert. You might get the guy with his fucking talk to go, yeah, fuck this shit. Take his mask off and sit down with you. I mean, I think sit-ins are actually powerful tools in terms of protest. If you did a sit-in at Costco because they wouldn't sell you stuff because you weren't wearing a mask, if 300 people,
but on the other hand, I don't want to resort to that filthy, unshaven, unwashed hippie crap. Like,
hey man,
chaining myself to the bulldozer to save the trees. I don't.
Listen. The people who were doing sit-ins back in the 60s, and let's say even further back when they formed unions in Detroit, they did a sit-in, right? They occupied the factory floor and they wouldn't leave. Oh, excuse me. Nice. They were the true liberals. They were the ones who said, we want freedom. We want things to happen in such a way that our liberty is protected. They're not that way now. But back then, they were fighting for actually decent ideals. They wanted to end war in Vietnam. They wanted people to be free. They wanted, to stop with all the, government spending on military, all that sort of stuff. They had good intentions, and their fight was right as far as I'm concerned. I feel the same way about this. But Costin says, yeah, there probably are loopholes. Well, I mean, it's all how you approach it, and it's all how you exert your will. I'm saying that having the will is the most important part of it, because cops have the will, the politicians have the will, the stores have the will. It's who's willing to exert the will, exert it properly, and who's willing to back down first. Basically, they're forcing them to implement the rules. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah. But
I don't. Here's the thing. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to fuck with the cops if I know I'm right. The problem is, who's going to be there to film it? There's no guarantee that that's going to get filmed.
Somebody will. In today's society, somebody will record it.
Not necessarily. Like,
oh yeah, there'll be a bunch of Karens saying, "Look at these assholes! They're endangering everybody." They'll go up on TikTok instantly.
Oh,
it'll be viral. Maybe. Here's the other thing about that. It was a Grace Life Church. Is that what you said it was?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that the same church where the Polish priest kicked them out?
No, that's a different church. That's a different church. The other pastor, Grace Life, is the pastor got arrested a while ago, was spent 35 days in jail until he was released, and then opened his church again, and they went there. The other guy, that's the Polish immigrant, I believe.
Yep.
Who chased the cops out of his church.
Yeah. They called them Gestapo, called them Nazis, called them fascists. Yeah.
It was
great to see.
Stop shouting them down.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Even after they left, he still kept calling after them, and he he was incredulous that they would even consider doing this on Passover, like the holiest of holy days, right? Anyway, more people like that need to exist.
Sorry, being Polish, he's probably Orthodox, so yes, that's a very important week for
Passover is a big, people talk about Christmas being the most important holiday in Christian faith. I think Easter's way more.
Easter is the high. Ask Ajax. Easter is the high holiday. Okay.
Yeah. For the non-practicing, they think, oh, Christmas is the most important. That was the birth of Christ. No. It was his sacrifice that made him great. It was his sacrifice that made him great. His birth, started the prophecy on the road. It was when he gave his life for everybody else that was the big deal. Ajax is gone. I think he left. I think it's just Costin. How many people are watching right now?
Oh, we still got 5.
Oh, nice. Okay. I was thinking I saw footage of what was happening there at that Grace Life Church, and I'm like, I wonder what would happen if those cops were sent out to that church and everybody was protesting from inside the church, the fence, because that's where they were, right? They went inside the fence. Was armed with long guns. They didn't point them at anybody. They were just carrying them. They're just holding them like this. What do you think would happen?
I don't want to think about that because this is
I'm thinking
Canada.
I'm thinking back to what happened when the Mohawk at the Oka reservation, when the Mohawks occupied like a stretch of road, an area of a town, saying we're not leaving, and they were armed.
Wait, was this just like last year?
No, this was like 10 years ago.
Okay, no, I don't know this one then.
Yeah. So they basically held off because they didn't want to escalate. And that's what it's going to take for people. Like, because the thing is, the problem with today's news is things are in and out of everybody's consciousness within, hours.
Yeah.
And it's never a 24-hour news cycle. It's not even a 24-hour news cycle anymore. It's like a 4-hour news cycle now. But if you can extend something, if you can extend your optics several days, you set up tents inside that fence, you have people come down armed with their long guns, and you just sit there and say, we're not leaving. What do you think the cops would do? They're not going to start pointing their guns at everybody because they don't want it to turn into a firefight and then be responsible for it. That means that the protest ends up lasting that much longer, and then people start to hear more of the details about what's going on, and people start to realize that, hey, these people who are fighting against these infractions or these interference with their lives, they're getting seriously pissed off. Not just marching in the streets without masks on, they're coming places now armed. I don't know. I'm not advising that people do that. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to picture what might happen, and I'm thinking back to the Oka reservation protest dispute when the native Mohicans, basically occupied that territory for I think it was well over a month. It was a long time. Ultimately, the thing ended, but it got their message out, and it got people to talk about the issue. It was all about, I think, an area like a golf course or something that was going to be made on an area that they considered to be their land, and they wouldn't leave. So,
well, I mean, I'm just happy that the local natives nearby the Grace Life Church came out and were drumming and chanting in solidarity with the church, right? And yes, I absolutely will take Tegan up on that. We'll set it up. We'll draw them into the trap just so that we can have that kind of publicity.
I think she's closer to you, Irving. I don't know exactly where Tegan is, but in one of her videos, she was in Oshawa area, so I think she's that way. But but so yeah, you guys could probably get together very easily to do something like that. And you know what? Firearms out of Canada is in Ajax, and I have no problem making a trip out there once they do curbside pickup again. So.
No, yeah, and we were talking about grabbing a good camera and going out to a range to shoot, and now we're all on lockdown again.
Yeah, I haven't got but you know what? I haven't got my permit for my latest. Did I show you my Ruger?
You did not.
Oh, it's in my safe. I don't want to go get it. I got a Ruger SP101. I think I sent you a picture of it, but I didn't show it to you. Yeah, I bought a new handgun, Ruger SP101. It's so nice. I sent it to Six as well because he's got the GP100, which is the big brother of the gun I got. So
see, and this is a stream called the Ammunation. You're gonna have to do like a gun porn episode one time.
Yeah.
Show off all your guns.
Maybe I will. Next Ammunation will be a gun show. Ammunation 13, the Great Canadian Gun Show. That's what good show. I have been. You can't see it with this shirt on, but I have been doing arm curls. I don't want to put on tights and look like have a dad bod.
No, see, Canada man should have a dad bod.
No. I want to look
powerful across the chest and shoulders. All right.
What's that?
Powerful across the chest and shoulders, and a little bit of a gut.
A little bit of a gut. Well, yeah. I'm not powerful across the chest. I do have broad shoulders, and my arms are starting to show some muscle. But I don't think I'll ever get rid of this gut because I just don't want to put the work in. So maybe we'll get Spanx for men. I'll get a girdle. Anyway, what are we looking at here? We're coming up on 2 hours. We should probably call it soon. Let me go back to my banners and see if we're missing anything yet. But we should once again thank our sponsor, folks. If you ever wanted the sensation of pissing out your asshole, try Peg-Lite. I've used it, and it's wonderful. Anyway, I'll look at my banners and see what else we got to do here. No. I'm not going to touch on that. We've already talked about it. Oh, I know. No one tells jokes anymore, Irving.
I already told the worst joke.
What was that joke? I can't remember now.
When you're already autistic, but you take a vaccine, level up.
Level up. Yes, I saw that joke. That was fun. A friend told me this really awful joke the other day that is very, very... And the problem is I would have no problem telling this except that Tegan is now back in the comments. So she's going to hear this and think I'm a disgusting person.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm disgusting because I say it, not because I believe it or because it's true, but just because I like wordplay. How did it go? What's the difference between peanuts and chickpeas? I'm probably telling it wrong.
I don't know.
Peanuts weren't on my face last night. Get it?
Yeah, but yeah, you are telling it wrong.
I probably am. Sorry, folks. I'm terrible at this. How does it go, actually, if anybody knows?
I have no idea, but you're telling it wrong. You have to be.
Yeah. But you know what? You understand it, right?
Yes.
Okay. For the record, I find that kind of behavior in the bedroom disgusting. I'm not into it at all. So.
Okay, what's the difference between a child and a hooker?
If you don't know that, Irving, I think maybe...
Hey, you avoided the setup.
Okay, no. All right, sorry. What is the difference between a child and a hooker?
No, see, I'm supposed to ask that, and you're supposed to say, I don't know. And then I go, you sick fuck.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I didn't walk into that.
Yeah.
Who am I, Joe Biden?
Bang. Well done.
Folks, if you have a joke, put it in the chat and I will read it out or share it. This is the joke section of the Ammunation stream.
Oh, this isn't a joke, but it's a nice update. The video is now private, but you remember the adventures of Finnegan S. Youngman?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. My raccoon that I may or may not have rescued. I don't know. The other day, coming home, turned the corner from the main street onto my side street and saw something in the dark run across the road, either a big cat or a raccoon. So I slowed down and I saw to the right side a raccoon sitting on the curb, right? And waiting as I approached. And he was looking at me and kept looking off towards the houses on the side as if to tell other raccoons, hold on, hold on. As I drove past, I have no way of knowing or confirming, but I'm going to choose to believe that's Finnegan S. Youngman, now a successful family man, teaching his kids not to cross the street when cars are coming.
Well, because he learned the lesson the hard way, didn't he?
Yeah, and now he's going to live in my neighborhood away from the big intersection and more near the small intersections.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I like to believe that as well. If you haven't seen the story of Finnegan S. Youngman, you should beg Irving to make it public again because it was a really good story. I really liked it.
because I was very drunk when I recorded that. I was very emotional. Like,
And no doubt you were, but you didn't come off as like a slobbering drunk. So,
and I see these videos of people with their animal stories from the moment they find the animal and all through this stuff, and they're recording the whole thing. It never occurred to me to record it. I just felt really bad and wanted to help that poor bastard.
oh well, that's good though. You know what? Like, it's his area, and the
So
fact
there's no photos, there's no video.
Oh.
It's just me talking about a raccoon.
Yeah, that's good. You didn't exploit it for your own channel. That being said, I really like those videos when I see, somebody found a fox stuck in a drain pipe, and it was a baby fox, and they nursed it back to health, and now the fox loves them, and they set the fox free, but it comes back every once in a while. Like, I think those are really nice stories, and when people say humanity is shit and people are cancer, I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. I've seen plenty of videos that indicate otherwise. But nobody's got any more jokes? Oh, Tegan laughed at my joke. I'm assuming she laughed at my joke. I don't know. Maybe she laughed at your joke, but thank you, Tegan, for laughing at my joke. Or maybe she was laughing at the one that you set up, but I didn't walk into. Costin says, the difference between a child and a hooker is that I would like a hooker. I wouldn't like a child. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Anybody else have any more jokes? Come on. We've got we could cut it before 2 hours. I like to make them 2 hours roughly, but we're almost there. If anybody's got another joke, put it in the comments. We'll show it on the screen. You have one more?
While we wait for them, let me circle back.
Okay.
To being pulled over. Cops asking you questions, and now you have to answer them. Cops can pull you over for any reason. They can spot check you for license, registration. Fuck. God damn it, Costin.
Yep.
This guy, he's just so hurtful to me.
I know.
It's okay. I love you anyway. But you don't have to answer further questions. The powers now say you have to answer their questions. If they say, where are you going? I've been saving this, never had to use it. Where are you off to tonight? Oh, me? I was just off to exercise my rights as a citizen in a free country. Thank you for your concern, officer. If they press, yeah, but where? Wherever the wind takes me.
It's true, though, because you do.
You're answering their questions.
Yeah.
Right? To the best of your ability. And if you're smart ass enough and you're hard enough and you want to let them cite you and maybe there's a ticket, maybe there's a fucking court appearance, you can go to court and just say, I had no idea where I was going. I was distraught with the lockdowns. I was in my own car, away from all other people, and I just wanted to go for a drive. And that's exactly what I was doing. It can be a harrowing experience if you drag it out that way, but
well, yeah, because you're going to have to go to court. You should probably go with a lawyer. And because it's not a criminal citation, you're not going to be given a public, unless it's an indictable offense, you don't get a public defender, right? It'd be a summary conviction. It would be a simple ticket citation. You could either pay the citation or you could take it to court. And if you're gonna stand principled in your car, you may as well stand principled in the court. But then you're defending yourself or you're hiring a lawyer. So, yeah. And here's the thing: I would be inclined to say, with all due respect, officer, it's none of your business where I'm going. Well, there's a lockdown. People aren't allowed to take unnecessary trips. I would say I'm in disagreement, and I'm not advising you where I'm headed. It's none of your business. It's none of the state.
And that's very factual, civil disobedient.
Right.
And it's all well and good. But my way is both smart-assed, and when you stand before the judge without a lawyer, you can tell the judge, honestly, I answered his questions to the best of my ability. Honestly and truly. So
you're saying is just for a drive?
Yes, but do it smart-assed. Be a complete cunt about it.
Yep.
But, the most roundabout way of saying, I'm just getting some exercise.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true, and it's good because just like writing that German phrase on your papers, please card. It's a nice snarky way of showing your civil disobedience, and it's not likely to get you into trouble. Or if it does get you into trouble, you have a leg to stand on.
It will get you into a modicum of trouble, and you will get out of it later. But you have to go through the process of getting out of it, and that's the bitch of it.
The issue I have is if you get cited for that, does that appear on a criminal record, like speeding? Speeding doesn't appear on a criminal record; it appears on your driver's record. Because my concern is, if these citations appear on a criminal record, then the CFO is going to ring me up the next day or 2 days later and say, "Hey, so we understand you had a run-in with the police. Tell us all about it, please." And then I have to tell them, "Yeah, no, it was nothing. Don't worry about it." Well, we're going to take your guns away anyway, and we're going to revoke your license. It's probably not going to happen because, again, it's just a citation. But if they get an inkling that I'm a revolutionary or some shit like that, then they might just say he's a danger. Let's take his guns away. I'm deeply paranoid about that. I'm deeply paranoid about saying or doing the wrong thing in the wrong context, and them not approving my reapplication for my pal, or coming and saying we need to take your guns away.
I mean, what was that stupid thing I was hearing from somewhere that a doctor, a psychiatrist, kept getting bad Yelp reviews from one of his patients? So he had the patient's guns taken away.
That's right.
And
it wasn't like that was on Crowder's most recent common sense gun laws are nonsense, changed my mind.
Right. Okay.
He did that on his most recent one. Not like the guy in the Yelp reviews was threatening him. He was just saying this doctor was a piece of crap. This doctor, hurt my foot. Whatever it was he was saying. This doctor, smelled like, farts, ringer poop. I don't know. But he was basically insulting the doctor on these Yelp reviews. And it might have reached the point of harassment, but it wasn't. What
if he was leaving legit bad reviews? Like, this doctor did not do a lot to help me. He seemed dismissive of my problems. He said medication or shut up. But he kept going to the doctor because he had no one else, and he kept leaving bad reviews.
Right.
What if it's all legit and the doctor was like, I can't, through the psychiatry, take your guns away, but because of the Yelp reviews, I can have them remove your guns.
Yeah, he got him back, I think, eventually. But the point is that's part of the red flag laws that they wanted to do with Bill C-21, which really bothers me. Because the thing is, I get into arguments from time to time online with people. I'm mostly a wonderful human being and cordial. But there are friends of mine who know I have guns, who I disagree with. And, my brother, sometimes we have a spat about something. He might just take this opportunity to go, I'm going to really fuck with him. I don't think he would. But you know what? It's always a concern.
Sure.
It's always a concern. It could be a colleague at work who I barely know. But maybe he's seen one of my YouTube videos and decides he's going to fuck with me because, I didn't help him out on his last order or something, right? Or I gave him a bad feedback because he processed an order incorrectly. So he's going to fuck with me. That's why there needs to be a process that involves, there has to be a legal record of you demonstrating that you shouldn't have them. That's how it is currently. If you talk to your doctor and you say, I'm feeling suicidal, and for whatever reason, the CFO reaches out to your doctor and he says, yeah, well, he's mentioned that he's suicidal before, then the CFO has a reason, has a legitimate reason to take away your guns. But if it's just some schmuck who you work with or who you talked with on the internet, can now go before a judge and say, take this guy's guns away, and they'll do it. Government doesn't, really want to. They don't want to waste their time, but also I don't think they want to turn up an opportunity to take guns out of people's hands. So I hope C-21 doesn't pass. That's all I got to say about
it. It probably will. We'll see Aaron O'Toole vote for it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably, because he's a piece of garbage.
Another
Another fat little despot. But
And you
I
know
think
what?
we should, sorry, go ahead.
I had hopes for him.
Me too.
Not high hopes, but
No,
hopes. You know.
yeah. Yeah, but it's clear that, I mean, here's the thing. This has been the truth about the two parties for the longest time. The Conservative Party and the Liberal Party were never really that different. They had different colors in their logos, but in terms of policies, they were roughly the same. With Justin Trudeau being the head of the party now, they've gone quite a bit further left. But the Conservatives are not that much further behind. They're not that much further right. They've always been slightly centrist, even a little bit left of center, and the Liberals have been slightly more left of center. And the NDP are just fucking whack job communists. But yeah, now it's, they haven't moved the Overton window at all back towards the right.
No.
There isn't a populist movement here in Canada with any real, deep roots or anything, except for in Alberta and with the PPC, but it's new, right? It's going to take time.
I've lost a lot of faith in the PPC.
Really? Why's that? You don't think they're
come again?
I was going to say, you don't think that they're genuine, or you just don't think they have a chance?
No. I think Maxime Bernier is genuine. I think, despite his charisma, his intelligence, his fucking French accent has prevented him from drawing the Pierre Poilievres to him, and he's not going to be able to get it done. Right? Alberta is going to be the people that go properly conservative and eventually separate, because there's no other recourse for them at this point, because there's no other populist conservative, like libertarian, who speaks English. Like, Max, you've been underground for a year and you weren't practicing your English and trying to flatten out that accent.
Yeah, that's going to take a lot, right? I mean, you got to consider how old he is at this point, and that accent is ingrained, right? So,
dude,
it will take a while.
Hitler was Austrian, okay?
Yeah.
And he took coaching lessons, speech lessons, so that he could speak German with a German accent instead of an Austrian accent. This guy speaks English just fine, but he never bothered to try and dumb his accent down.
Yeah, to take it to high. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same cost, and I am worried about the next Ontario election. I don't know who the Liberals are going to put up, but whoever they are going to put up is probably going to beat Ford. I don't think Ford is going to win again. I could be wrong. Maybe people like his leadership, but
no, I mean, what's going on there? Derek Sloan and what are they? What's his name? Karahalios.
Mm-hmm. They're the two possible provincial conservatives, or
they're working on a true blue party.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's going to get any ground, any traction. It's too close to election time. It's too, the federal, like, I know they're separate things, but they're sort of interactive, holistic, that the Fed and the provincial are going to blend for most people. So when one group starts saying, oh, those conservatives that's the racist guy, just boom, dismissed. That's what happened to the PPC. Right? Didn't matter that they had literally the most diverse party. They refused to disclose their diversity statistics on principle, which was right to do, but it fucked them over. Right? And it's going to happen because you call them Nazis. If they can't say, look, we have token brown people, and they won't, because they're not, because it's completely against what they stand for.
Right. But here's the thing. Like, I think I think people need to start suing people for defamation when they call them Nazis. Cara Dune, Gina Carano.
Yep.
So there was a politician on Real Time with Bill Maher. Night Tegan. Real Time with Bill Maher not too long ago, and he basically brought up in passing, what's in the news is, so yeah, this Gina Carano getting fired, and she goes, oh yeah, well, she was a Nazi. And he's like, and like, of course now everybody's a Nazi. He's like, wait, she's not really a Nazi. Well, no, but she hangs out with Nazis and white supremacists. So she's basically just talking out her ass, this politician.
Yeah, no, that right? it was.
And so now apparently Gina Carano is suing her for defamation.
Oh, good.
It's a big deal to call someone a fucking Nazi, but the thing is, you know what? You'd have lawsuits piled up, a mile high in the sky because so many people just throw that word around so blatantly, so glibly nowadays. Everybody's a fucking Nazi. So, but I think people do need to start filing lawsuits if they're ever referred to as a Nazi in public, like on public media, online. Someone calls you a Nazi, take them to court. Defamation. I know that there's certain rules for defamation, but the thing is, it'd be easy enough to prove that your reputation was damaged. All it takes is somebody with a big enough following to call you a Nazi, and your reputation is damaged, and you can't show how it was damaged. Like, say, well, I lost my job because so and so called me a Nazi. No, but your reputation has been tarnished already. That will have lasting effect on the future, because the internet is forever, right? It's not like somebody called you a Nazi at a dinner party, and everybody forgot about it the next dinner party. It happened online. It happened on news, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more jokes coming, so I guess maybe we should call it a night here, Irving. I think I've worn out all my what do you call it? My subjects, my banners.
Yeah. I just want to say, all these people that seem to hate Nazis and call everyone Nazis. I mean, if you're so angry about Nazis, maybe you should stop acting like them.
Oh, fuck yeah. I know, right? Really? I'm the Nazi? You're the one trying to silence people for their points of view. That's what the Nazis did. Yeah. Irony is lost on them. So what's plans, Irving? You got any new videos coming out anytime soon?
I have no idea. Again, little down, demoralized. I'll produce content one day.
Yeah, you don't want to just make a video for the sake of making a video. For me, that's I get in my car and I just start rambling. And my phone is full of videos I never uploaded because they didn't work out. But when I touch on something that is important and to me, and I can get my words out halfway decent, I'll upload it. But one good thing about tonight, we know that Tegan can stay up late. It's it's 1 o'clock and she's just going to bed now, so she's got no excuse to say she won't come on the Ammunation or after hours. So I'll hit her up again and thank her once again for coming into our stream.
And very shortly, she'll upload a video of me being arrested. Don't worry.
No doubt. Yep. All right, man. I'm gonna end the stream here, folks. Thanks for watching. I'm Craig Bragg. You can catch my stuff on this channel. I do car videos. You've probably seen that. If you're not subscribed, please do. My co-host tonight is Irving Twin. Check out his channel. I've linked it in the description. You all take care of yourselves. Have a beautiful weekend and good day.
Keep the blue side up.